Xiaomi, one of the largest smartphone manufacturers in the world, recently introduced the Xiaomi SU7, their first electric car. And yes, I know exactly what you think. Why is a smartphone company going into the EV market? And don't we already have like a dozen of Chinese companies that are all producing electric vehicles? I mean, think of BYD, NIO, Li Auto, Geely, XPeng, Great Wall Motor, the list goes on and on and on. But let me be honest, Xiaomi's SU7 is quite different. Not only have they achieved what Apple desperately is trying to do for years, namely building a car as a consumer electronics company, but they also managed to come up with a pretty decent vehicle. Xiaomi is the first consumer electronics company that broke into the EV space, and its car will compete in the luxury EV market with the likes of Audi, Porsche, Tesla and Lucid. Let's dig a bit deeper into the surprising specs of the SU7, Xiaomi's super smart strategy of going into the EV space and playing a role in the highly disruptive Internet of Mobility sector, and why consumer electronic companies like Apple and Sony are so desperate to enter the market but have not yet managed to succeed. Okay, let's begin with some quick facts about the SU7, which is short for Speed Ultra 7. The biggest battery version will offer you a range of up to 800 kilometers. It's quite a long range if you compare it to other EVs such as BYD's Seal, which offers a range of up to 700 kilometers, the Tesla Model S with a range of 629 kilometers, or the Porsche Taycan with 484 kilometers. Only Lucid's AirDream can beat Xiaomi's SU7 with a range of 840 kilometers. And what about speed? Well, the SU7 reaches 100 km per hour in 2.8 seconds and has a top speed of 265 km per hour. That's good, but other EVs such as the Tesla Model S or Lucid's AirDream are a bit faster. Design-wise, well, I think you see what Xiaomi's inspiration was. Looks super similar to Porsche's Taycan and the Panamera. I mean, I really like the look, but I'm curious if Porsche eventually has anything official to say on this. As you might already notice, the smartphone and device maker is dead serious about its push into the EV market. Billionaire founder Lei Jun, who has an estimated net worth of $12 billion, outlined his big ambitions, saying that by working hard over the next 15 to 20 years, Xiaomi will eventually become one of the world's top 5 automakers. And Lei Jun is ready to invest heavily in this undertaking. $10 billion will go into creating a profitable smart EV unit, as he calls it, which will likely be his last major entrepreneurial project. Xiaomi's cars will be produced by state-owned automaker BAIC Group in a Beijing factory that has an annual capacity of 200,000 vehicles. Just to put things into perspective, Chinese EV competitor BYD sold roughly 530,000 cars in Q4 2023 alone. But that's not holding Xiaomi back. For the success of its future cars, Xiaomi relies heavily on its huge customer base, the so-called Mi fans, the members of its smart device ecosystem. And with the SU7, Xiaomi seeks to close exactly this very loop of the human x car x smart home ecosystem. This brings us to the crucial next point. The electric car as we know today is gradually shifting towards becoming a smart device, which opens up a completely new world of revenue generation. We're talking about the Internet of Mobility. But what is the Internet of Mobility? Well, it essentially is the creation of an open and secure network that uses interconnected devices, sensors and data analytics to optimize different elements within the transportation ecosystem. Yep, that sounded like I took this definition straight out of a dictionary. Let's say it's something like internet and communications technology meets mobility sector. Companies have realized that although revenue generated from selling cars is nice, it usually only happens once in a car's productive life cycle, namely when you buy the car. And obviously for car companies that was way too little, and they needed to find ways to monetize the car in multiple ways over its entire lifetime. Just look at what BMW did with its connected drive store in the UK. They're essentially selling additional functionalities such as a parking or high beam assistant and active cruise control for a monthly subscription. The car industry is racing towards a future of microtransactions in which you will need to pay extra for a lot of functionalities. The funny thing about this, the car is actually capable of performing all of those functionalities, but companies will just put a software block on them. This entire trend, which was propelled by the Internet of Mobility, obviously creates drastically new commercial opportunities for car companies, but is seen as greedy by customers, for a good reason. It's also important to note that new players in this kind of market mostly emerge out of the digital space, because they have a lot of experience in monetizing software-defined smart devices. This is why in the recent years we are seeing this push into EVs by more and more consumer electronic companies. Instead of starting with developing the hardware of an electric vehicle, which was common in the past, consumer electronic companies start at the application level and design user-centric software. They tackle car production from exactly the other way and rely on their expertise in creating applications, services and digital ecosystems first. For the hardware part, they oftentimes partner up with traditional car manufacturers, such as the BAIC Group, if we take Xiaomi's example. So if it worked out for Xiaomi, why didn't it work out for Apple, the company with nearly endless cash reserves and decades of experience in the software sector? Well, it seems to all boil down to the fact that Apple wants to create every part of the car from scratch, without the involvement of a traditional car maker. And this makes the undertaking extremely difficult. And yes, we all know Apple is now producing their chips, their entertainment system CarPlay is quite successful, but building a car completely from scratch, that might be too difficult, even for a company like Apple. This is not to say that there have not been many rumors about possible partnerships with Hyundai, Volkswagen, Kia and Lucid Motors in the past, but in the end they have remained just rumors. Apparently, after dozens of management rotations within Apple's special projects team, latest news revealed that the design should be finished by 2024, so that testing can start in 2025 ahead of a 2026 launch. But let's see, after the project has been delayed so many times, you really start to doubt that the Apple car will ever see the light of day. So now I'm curious, what do you think of Xiaomi's move into the EV space? How do you like their new SU7 and do you drive an EV yourself? Let me know in the comments. And as always, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel if you enjoy these kinds of videos. See you in the next video.